Hi, Janisha. Hi, hi. Everyone, please switch on your cams. Quickly, 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 please. Sarah, Rian, Vansh, Prisha, Radhika, Rian, Reet, Shanvi, Kea, Neil, Harsh, Kush, Laksh, Ashish. चलो जल्दी जल्दी cams on करो. Okay. All right. If there is a problem, I understand, but please try because it helps to connect better, interact better. If there are issues, it's okay. Just keep trying. Okay, Kya. See if you can manage. Otherwise, hmm. All right. Okay. Remaining people, please switch on your cams quickly so that we can start. Camera did not work with this. Okay. All right, Rihan. ठीक है. Okay. Yes, Neil, I am speaking. Am I not audible to you? Guys, please raise your hand if I am audible to you so that I know that you can hear me. Okay, thank you, Janisha. Thanks, Vaishali. Thanks, Reet. Okay, okay, okay. Great. Okay, so if you're not able to hear me, just check your speakers once because I think to maximum people I am audible. All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Cool. Okay, last minute I'm giving to switch on our cams for those who are at home and are able to switch it on. Um, it's actually a non-negotiable in our workshops. Cams have to be on, but if there is an issue that we can't avoid, it's okay. We understand. Okay, I think we are going to start with the number of people that have joined. Okay, uh, because then we don't want to push it ahead. All right, so hi guys. Super happy to see all of you, and we already have had short conversations on the group. Okay, अच्छा किस किस को मेरा question weird लगा by the way? Just raise your hands. कि क्या मतलब what if your first reaction was ये क्या है? Please raise your hands. Nice. Okay. Wow. Okay. काफी लोगों को लगा है that my question was weird. I give it to you. It was weird. I get it. Cool. Thank you for your honesty, guys. Uh, okay. By the way, your replies and answers have been super amazing. It's such a delight to read your answers. I was reading every message and I was like, oh, this is one way to look at it. Oh, I never thought of it this way. So thank you so much for that, sabse pehle. But to break it to you, the question that I asked was, how is the sun the father of the moon? To which I got a lot of replies, a lot of creative ones, a lot of in depth, reflective ones. But let me break it to you guys. None of the answer is actually correct. Okay. Now, when I say correct, it means if you look at it in a more realistic way, okay, the sun is not the father of the moon. Do we agree with that? Right? But yet, the moment we read that statement, the moment we read that we have to tell a reason or come up with reasons on how it is possible, our mind started connecting dots, right? अच्छा ये ऐसे हो सकता है ये इस वजह से हो सकता है हाँ मे बी यू नो एंड देयर वर सो मेनी क्रिएटिव आंसर्स वी हैव ऑलरेडी रेड and so creative, right? Now imagine how strong our mind is. Matlab, it it's actually a storyteller, it's a creator of stories. Okay, and when there is no evidence, for example, this statement, our mind starts assuming stuff, assuming possibilities. That's the beauty of our mind. All right. Now the catch here is that the assumptions feel like truth. Now this was a riddle, a question, right? So we didn't really think much about it. But when we are thinking about what happened in the day, some challenge, some area of our lives, the assumptions that we make, or the assumptions our mind makes, pretty much feels like the truth. And that's why it becomes difficult to understand if I'm, oh, and then we go into that loop of overthinking, okay, oh shit, I suck at this, oh shit, yeah, I embarrassed myself, what the heck was I doing, oh my god, she gave me that reaction, am I not cool enough, etc., etc., etc. Right? Now we know that our mind is a storyteller. It connects dots with all the information it has. But the question is, where does it get the information from? मतलब मिलता कहाँ से इन्फॉर्मेशन? प्लीज टाइप इन द कमेंट सेक्शन और व्हाटएवर यू थिंक, कहाँ से इन्फॉर्मेशन आता है माइंड के पास? Preconceived notions, yes. What else? Overthinking. Mm-hmm. What else, guys? Past experiences. Yes, yes. Wow, wow. Okay. All right. Oh, yes. Subconscious mind, people around us, past experiences, personal values. Amazing. Now, all these things basically mean, yes, Vaishali, whatever we see and read, exactly. This all information is basically based on how we perceive what is happening or we perceive the world. The things we see, the things we hear, the things we feel, the things we experience. So, in short, whatever we tell our mind, the mind tells us back in different situations. Okay, so if I experience a scary thing and I tell my mind, oh my god, this world is scary, the mind will be like, okay, noted. And in situations where it feels like it needs to tell you, it will tell you, oh, the world is scary, don't do this. Oh my god, this is risky, don't do this. Have you all experienced that? Not just fear thought, but like any thought. Like where you can hear your inner voice tell you something. Now, some of us are more aware of that voice, some of us might not have paid a lot of attention to that voice. But this is a voice that stays with us every time, all the time. So, this brings me to the topic of self talk. Now, what is self talk? To break it to you, no fancy definitions. Self talk is basically what we say to ourselves, how we converse with ourselves, what we talk to ourselves, which is self explanatory, right? Now, there are different types of self talk. Okay. Um, there are certain areas of our lives where we feel confident. Like we feel like, okay, I'm good at this. It could be a certain activity, like, okay, maybe I'm confident about cooking, about my dressing sense, about a certain part of my body, about how I talk, about, oh, I have a good nature. It could literally be anything. Notice your self talk in those areas. Like, take a minute, reflect on the areas that you feel confident about. You feel like, okay, I think I'm kind of good at this. And now notice what you say to yourself. If you guys can are able to come up with something nice that you say to yourself in the areas that you're confident about, please raise your hands. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Hmm. And now, think about the areas where we don't feel confident, areas where we feel like I'm not good at this, or I suck at this, I'm not cool, or oh, I'm not good at this. Areas where we feel underconfident or not sure about. What is the nature or what is the genre of self talk? Is it on the encouraging, motivating side, or is it more on the oh, I'm not good at this, or oh, I don't think I'll be able to do this? If you're able to relate to this, please raise your hands. Hmm. Right. I raise my hand too, but yes, exactly. Mm-hmm. All right. Now, 1 second. Hmm. I'm going to share my screen. Be with me. Uh, okay. If you can see the screen, please just like unmute yourself and tell me because I might not be able to see everybody. Is the screen visible? Can you see
We
the?
can see.
All right.
Yes, yes.
Cool, cool. Thanks, coach. Okay. The art of self talk is what we're talking about. Okay. Hmm. So we obviously spoke about what is self-talk. It's basically what we talk to ourselves. Now let's see how our feelings, our thoughts, and our actions are correlated. Okay. So the first thing that happens is a thought. What we think about a situation that happened, about something that I experienced, about something that I saw, read, heard. Any piece of information around us becomes a thought. Now, a thought is not positive or negative. It's a thought. Now, what we feel about that thought becomes a feeling. Okay. And how I feel about something dictates how I act on it or what I do or my behavior. Everyone with me on this? Give me a thumbs up. All right. Okay. Cool. I'm going to give you an example here. Okay. So a thought is, let's say a situation happened where I cracked a joke and I didn't really get a laughter. Now, what thought did I have? The thought was, oh, I am dumb. Nobody laughed at my joke. Nobody laughed at my joke. What does that make me feel? The feeling is of shame. I feel ashamed, like I feel embarrassed and ashamed. And then what is the action I take? I try to isolate myself. I try to be aloof, or I don't want to face people again because the last time I did it did not make me feel great. So that's how our thought, feeling, and action is connected. And it's a loop. Now, when I act in this way, when I behave in this way, when I take a decision that, okay, I'm going to isolate myself because I got embarrassed, I in turn confirm the thought that I am not cool, I'm really dumb, or I'm not a great comic, or I can't crack jokes. And then that loop continues. Do you relate to this loop, guys? Has it happened with you in any area of your life? Yes? Right. That is what happens. Now, like I mentioned earlier as well. All right. Yes. Like I mentioned earlier as well, there are areas where we feel confident and then there are areas where we don't feel confident. Now, when there are challenging spaces, now they're not necessarily areas, but they could be just small moments or situations that happen. ठीक है कहीं कहीं embarrass हो गए कुछ बोल दिया you know ऐसा कितने बार होता है यार I mean just raise your hand if you can agree कि कुछ बोल दिया और उसका रिस्पॉन्स बहुत ही पुअर आया एंड यू लाइक क्यों क्यों बात की मैंने बोला ही क्यों ये just an example. Yes, Man is saying something. Thank you, Dhaval. If I crack a joke and they don't laugh, so I try to explain the joke, then the joke kind of. Okay. Now that's a better way of coping at it, I would say. Right? But I think there are areas sometimes what happens is now I'll tell you what I'm talking about, man. Okay. The areas that we're not confident about, okay. What is the first thought that comes to your mind? Can you all recollect a recent or any incident that you remember where you were embarrassed, yeah, you were really angry at something, or you didn't like something. What was the first thought? Like the instant thought? Just think, just reflect about it. Okay, okay, interesting, man. That is a healthy way of coping. That is definitely a healthy way of coping. That's good. Do you guys have an incident? Is it coming to you? Oh yes, Vansh. Why did I say that in bold capitals? It's same. It's the same with me. All right. I'm like, oh shit, and it's an instant thought. Like it's not even on my face, but inside I'm just thinking, like, तो घर जाके खुद की वाट लगाऊंगी वाला feeling आता है. Why did I say that? Now, why I'm emphasizing on the first thought or the initial thought is because sometimes what happens is we react in a way, like internally react a certain way, but after some time, we're able to think in a different way. राइट कभी एकदम से लग गया कि एम्बैरेसिंग है बट बाद में आफ्टर लाइक आवर्स यू फील लाइक ठीक है मतलब आफ्टर डेज यू रिमेंबर एंड यू लाइक ठीक है आई मीन इट कुड बी just a bad day for me, you know. So sometimes this happens, sometimes it doesn't happen. But your first instant thought of a situation decides your base for how you're going to think. It's like storing, it's like storage. जितने भी first instant thoughts होते हैं, they get stored in a certain way. And the next time you face a similar situation, your mind refers to अरे उस टाइम मैंने कैसे रिएक्ट किया था वही कॉपी पेस्ट कर लो यहाँ पे. So do you guys relate to the fact that sometimes even without reflecting or being thoughtful about a situation, you tend to think a certain way about yourself, about somebody else, about a situation? Does that happen with you? Yes? Yeah? Right. By the way, people, a lot of your cams are off. Please switch on your cams. If you're eating, drinking, that's fine. It's okay, but I just need to see you guys. Yes. Okay. Yes. Now, like I mentioned, your instant thought is the most important thing. Now, when it comes to self talk, healthy self talk is definitely something we know, we've probably experienced at some point in our lives, right? But what I want to address today is the unhealthy self talk pattern that we experience or have. What is something that you tell yourself when you fail at something? Maybe a relationship failed. What did you say to yourself? Maybe you failed a test. What did you say to yourself? Maybe you made an error. Maybe you said something wrong. Maybe you misbehaved. Maybe someone passed a comment on you. These are challenging situations. When we say I'm dealing with a tough time, we're mainly mostly talking about the practical aspect of it, or how I need to figure out how to come out of this situation. But what we royally, I would say, neglect or maybe unintentionally neglect is what goes on inside. And that creates the most impact. Because a very factful thing, which I've mentioned in the image that we sent you all, is we don't suffer because of what happens. We suffer because of how we feel about something that happened. Now, when I say unhealthy self talk, what is unhealthy self talk? Unhealthy self talk is the conversation inside me which makes me underconfident, anxious, angry, ashamed, sad, depressed, hopeless, helpless. I asked this in the registration form and I did get your answers. Do you all relate? कि कभी कभी गुस्सा आता है, you feel anxious, कभी अंडर कॉन्फिडेंट फील होता है. किस किस ने ये अनहेल्दी पैटर्न एक्सपीरियंस किए हुए? या हम्म ओके ओके हम्म All right. I see you. I see you. All right. Thank you for that honesty. ठीक है. अब let's move towards इसका करना क्या है, right? ठीक है. I have a negative set pattern. I'm aware of it. What next? The next part. Now, पता है क्या होता है, हम सबको पता है कि हम अनहेल्दी सेल्फ टॉक कर रहे हैं. मे बी वी डोंट टर्म इट दैट वे, बट हम सबको पता है कि हम एक पर्टिकुलर थिंग सोच रहे हैं, यू नो, आफ्टर एनी सिचुएशन और इंसिडेंट. वन वेरी small but important thing that helps when it comes to healing from this is identifying, pehchanna of what I am doing. If I'm randomly thinking, but I take a moment, pause, and I think, okay, this is what is happening. But why this is so important and beautiful is जब मुझे नहीं पता, मैं मतलब मैं कुछ तो सोच रही हूँ, but उसको क्या नाम दूँ, क्या बोलूँ, जब मुझे नहीं पता, it becomes even more random, cluttered in our minds. And I'm thinking about, oh, मैं ऐसा feel क्यों कर रही हूँ, मैं ऐसा कर रही हूँ, and then that self doubt comes in. But the moment I have a label, the moment I have a name for what I'm doing, I step out of from the first person perspective, and I start looking at things from a third person perspective. That helps me look at the situation in a more different way. I will help you with that. Okay? I'm going to share. So, जो अनहेल्दी पैटर्न या अनहेल्दी सेल्फ टॉक की बात कर रहे हैं, इट्स ऑल्सो कॉल्ड कॉग्निटिव डिस्टॉर्शंस. Okay, not really going to stick to that term, but just to tell you how what it is called. The distortion मतलब क्या? Distorted thinking मतलब thinking which is not always realistic, which is not always true, which is based on certain fears, assumptions, experiences, thoughts, etc. Now, I am going to share the screen. Visible, everyone? Screen दिख रहा है? ठीक है.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Moving on. Now, there are different types of cognitive distortions that we're going to talk about today. The first one, पहला वाला, is all or nothing thinking. या तो ये या तो कुछ भी नहीं. वो perfectionism सुना होगा. I am a perfectionist, or someone is a perfectionist. It's somewhat related to this. All or nothing thinking, as you can read the example, I ate a cookie, so my diet is ruined. Or, if I'm not going to succeed, why should I try? Or I'm not going to try. So वो जो एक्सट्रीम थिंकिंग होती है ना, कि या तो जो मैंने स्टैंडर्ड सेट किया है, जो मैंने सोचा है, अगर वो नहीं है तो कुछ भी नहीं है, then it's zero. I have a to-do list for my day. 10 टास्क थे उसमें, मैंने 8 किया, या जो मैंने 7 किया, 3 नहीं किया. तो जो 3 नहीं किया उसकी वजह से आई फील लाइक, ओ, आई ruined my day. It was not productive at all. So this is all or nothing thinking. Anyone? Any doubts? Anything that you want to ask? Are we good to go? Have we understood this? Because we're going to reflect on this later on in our own life. So I really want all of us to be clear about this. So that was all or nothing. या तो ये या तो कुछ भी नहीं वाला सोच. Good to go? Oh wow. Okay. ठीक है. Next is overgeneralizing. What is overgeneralizing? It means जो एक बार हुआ है वो चीज रिपीट होती रहेगी, ऐसा सोचना. I took a wrong decision. I will always take wrong decisions, or I will keep taking wrong decisions. You know, I said something wrong. Oh, now I'm going to keep saying something wrong only. I can't say anything right. So एक चीज जो हुई है उसको जनरलाइज करना कि ये एक बार हुआ है तो ये हर बार होगा. That is over generalizing. Right? All with me? Give me like a thumbs up or something so that I know that, you know, we all are good with this. If anyone has any doubt, please just unmute yourselves because I'm sharing the screen. I might not be able to read chats. All right, okay. So that was overgeneralizing. The third one is should thinking. पता है ना, I should be able to deal with this. Man, I shouldn't have said that. I should do this. I should not cry. I should feel happy. द शुड एंड मस्ट वाला जो लैंग्वेज आता है ना, कि ये तो ऐसे ही होना चाहिए, ये तो वैसी, वो रिजिडिटी वाला लैंग्वेज, कि फॉर एग्जाम्पल मुझसे सबने अच्छे से ही बात करनी चाहिए, और आई शुड ओनली बी हैप्पी ऑल द टाइम. दिस इज शुड थिंकिंग. दिस इज अनदर डिस्टॉर्टेड वे ऑफ थिंकिंग. गुड टू गो. Good to go, guys. Okay. All right. Moving on. Mind reading. I think a lot of us do this. I think we all are experts at this. I feel. I personally have experienced this a lot, which is simply trying to read somebody's mind. Oh, she didn't smile at me. She pakka thinks I'm annoying. Or if I see a group of people talking and one of them just looks at me and I feel like, oh, see, they're judging me. So basically, I'm trying to assume that I know what the other person is thinking, why the other person is doing what they're doing, without any real evidence of it. Who all have experienced this or do experience this? Trying to assume somebody's behavior. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. All right, yes. Okay, okay, cool. Hmm. ठीक है. So that is mind reading. So basically, everybody becomes a mind reader, and we all feel like I know why, and what the other person is thinking and doing. All right. The next one is catastrophizing. In simple words, it means rai ka pahad bana dena. So when one thing happens, one mistake, so for example, the example that's given here is one relationship fails, and I feel like I will never find anyone. I will be lonely. I will be alone all my life. I will get depressed. So, one incident snowballed into something very extreme. Sometimes what hota hai कि okay, I'm having something on my, like, oh, I'm having a itchy skin and I feel like, oh, it's pakka not something extreme, right? It's pakka not something to worry about, right? And then I Google my symptoms. This is one example. Or I make one mistake and I feel like, or I don't score well in an exam and I feel like, shit, I'm never going to be good at studies. I'm going to fail my 10th. I'm not going to get into good college. I'm not going to get a job. I will be without money. I'll have to roam around the streets. So, you know how one thing is snowballing into something really extreme? How many of us experience this? Hmm. Right. I mean, ये नहीं होता तो overthinking भी नहीं होती ना. Obviously, इतना simple होता तो कोई overthink ही नहीं करता. But anyways, this is one of the most common patterns as well. All right, guys, moving ahead. Yes, yes, I see all. Hmm. All right. Emotional reasoning. It means that considering what I feel about something to be the ultimate reality. I feel anxious, so this must be dangerous without an evidence of it. Because I feel like I'm not great, okay, then I am a failure. Am I or am I not? I don't know. But because I feel a certain way, then that is true. Everyone with me on this? Any doubts? Anybody? समझ में आ रहा है? ओके, ठीक है. सो इमोशनल रीजनिंग इज बेसिकली कंसिडरिंग मुझे क्या लग रहा है किसी चीज के बारे में टू बी द रियलिटी ऑफ स्टफ विदाउट कंसिडरिंग फैक्ट्स, ट्रूथ, क्या सच में है, क्या सच में नहीं है, विदाउट क्वेश्चनिंग योर फीलिंग्स. That is emotional reasoning. All right. The next one is labeling. Again, something a lot of us do. All right. This could be about myself or other people. Like any sort of thinking pattern could be about me or somebody else too. All right. So here the example is she came late to work, so she's such a lazy bum. Or oh, I missed the catch, I'm so stupid. Or I missed the catch, I suck at cricket. So taking one thing, taking one mistake and labeling myself. All right. So okay, I failed an exam. Oh, I'm just so dumb. I'm not intelligent. Or you know, um, I I couldn't make a friend. I went out to socialize. I couldn't talk to anybody. Oh, I'm such a dumb person. I can never communicate. I'm a bad communicator. That is labeling. To label ourselves based on one example, one incident, one event. Who all relates to this? Hmm. I have a pretty self-aware batch of people. I'm so proud of you guys. Wow. Okay. Right. Okay. Cool. So that's labeling. Mental filtering. So let's assume a scenario where I give a presentation and I got feedback. Okay. Now, you see the things written in black are the positive feedbacks. Your PPT was good, loved how you went about it, I enjoyed it, it was super informative. And then there were two feedbacks. Oh, I felt a little bored in the middle. Oh, you spoke too fast. And I'm thinking about those two things the entire day. I'm dreaming about those two things the entire night. Dismissing the other positive feedback that I got. So basically, mental filtering is not only about feedback or comments, it could be about good things and bad things happening in the day. Like, there was some good moments that you went experienced, but you end up thinking about that one thing someone said or that one thing that happened with you which did not make you feel good. ऐसा होता है? Does it happen with you too? Yeah. Yes. Right. So basically, mental filtering is to negate everything and to focus only on what negative happened. All right. Moving on. Personalizing. Now, this is also common but very intense. Taking responsibility for everything happening around me is basically personalizing. She's upset. Must be because I didn't greet her well when she came. So basically, assuming that whatever is happening around, I am the reason for it. Like somewhere I did something because of which XYZ thing happened, or someone behaved a certain way, or said something, or didn't say something. It's my fault that my friends don't call me. So taking everything on yourself and feeling responsible for everything that's happening around. I mean, for someone who's in sports and they didn't have a great day that day, like they didn't play that well, and the team lost. It's very natural, or it's a very quick response to take it on yourself. Oh, this happened because of me. Did it or did it not? We don't know. But the thought that, oh, you know what, this happened because I did this, or it's because I didn't behave properly, I didn't practice enough, I didn't play well. It could be for anything. Do we relate to this? Mm-hmm. Hmm. All right. Wow. This definitely is one way of thinking which is common, but it is so intense. It is so intense. Hmm. All right. Cool. We'll come back to this. These were 9 cognitive distortions that we discussed. You know, if you think about these distortions, imagine how much pressure we are constantly in or under. इनमें से कुछ ना कुछ चालू ही रहता है दिमाग में. I mean, there are thousands of things happening in a day, right? And imagine having some sort of, even 60 or 70% of the time, if I'm thinking in these patterns, imagine how will I have the bandwidth and energy or motivation to do anything else? And stuff like procrastination, I don't find the motivation, I don't feel energetic to do something. All of this is nothing but being overly tired here. because there's so much going on inside which is not making me feel good. Now, do bad things not happen? Do I really not make mistakes? Do I really not need to improve? Of course I do. But there's a way of thinking about it, which we will come to. Does this way help us in any do you think these all these nine things that we spoke about, distortions, do you think they help us in any way? Please just write in the comments whatever you think. Hmm. Uh-huh. Laksh, I'll come to your point 1 minute. Okay, doesn't help बोला है. Okay. Hmm. That's a pretty natural answer, right? मतलब हम सबको यही लगता है क्या मतलब कभी हेल्प किया नहीं ही है. Exactly. Hmm. Okay. We all are on the same page when it comes to whether it helps me or not. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Interesting. All right. Now, when I know it doesn't help me, फिर मैं क्यों use कर रही हूँ? Why is my mind, who's here to actually protect me, function for me, why is it going against me? फिर ऐसे क्यों हो रहा है? Because I'll tell you, cognitive distortions sometimes actually are helpful. How? We just discussed how pathetic it is. कितना बुरा feel होता है. Then in what way can it help me? It helps me temporarily. It helps me momentarily. I'll tell you why. Let's say um, I am I'm using the first cognitive distortion. Okay, I feel like all or nothing वाला thinking. ठीक है. मैं डाइट कर रही हूँ. I ate a cookie or a chocolate. ठीक है. और अभी वो कॉग्निटिव डिस्टॉर्शन ऑन हो गया है मेरा कि अरे यार एक कुकी खा लिया मतलब मेरा डाइट तो गया. Now momentarily what happens is now I am not taking the effort to improve my diet or how to thinking about how I can overcome this craving. Rather, I'm putting my energy into medicine नहीं होगा छोड़ो मुझे करना ही नहीं है. So what my mind is doing, it's putting me into comfort zone. अरे तू मत कर, तेरा डाइट खराब हो चुका है. अब तो एक या तो 10 चॉकलेट भी खा लेगी तो क्या हो जाएगा. Right? So momentarily, my distortions actually protect me. When I say, oh, see, she spoke to me like that. She thinks I'm annoying. यहाँ पे, for some time, I'm putting things on the other person. I am saving myself from putting in the energy to think in some other way, which is difficult, which needs conscious efforts. Now, in the long term, this doesn't help at all. And ये हम सबको पता है, हम सब experience कर ही रहे हैं कि this doesn't help, this kind of thinking. But momentary, it makes me feel या तो comfortable या तो ऐसे लगता है कि I don't have control over anything. You know that feeling where I तो can't do anything about this. That comfort zone gets prepared. Even if I don't want to be in it. Even if मुझे वहाँ नहीं रहना है, but I create that for myself so that I don't have to take efforts. This is the only way it actually helps for some time. Okay. Now, what do I do about this? Okay. Now, before we get into that, we are going to take some time. I'm going to share the screen with all the 9 cognitive distortions, and everyone has a paper, book, pen with them, right? Go through the cognitive distortions, ask me for any doubt, and come up with your top 3 cognitive distortions with an incident that you can think about, which might be a small recent incident, some big incident that you remember from the past. Literally, it could be a conversation that made you think that way, absolutely anything. But your top 3 cognitive distortions with an incident. Okay, I'm going to share the screen. Visible? सबको सबको दिख रहा है? Okay. We are going to take 10 minutes. Take 10 minutes and think about, just take a flashback into your recent past or the past that you can remember, and write down your top three cognitive distortions. If anyone has any doubt, needs any help, please just unmute yourself and ask. 5 more minutes. Okay. Yes, are we done, people? Give me a thumbs up. Wait, I need to see. One second, I'm going to stop sharing. I need to see. Are we all done? Give me a thumbs up, guys, and I'll reshare the screen once we're done. Okay. All right. Mm-hmm. Okay. Others? What about others? We need more time. All right. All right. We take 2-3 minutes more. Guys who are done, please switch your cams on so that I know you are done. You need me to share the screen? Okay. Okay. We come back in 2 minutes. One last minute, guys. Okay, guys. I am stopping the screen share. All right. Could we come up with our top three that we either repeatedly do or we have recently experienced? Please give me a high, not the regular thumbs up. Give me a high if we were able to do that. All right. Who else? Okay, okay. Others? Kush, Kearit, Man, Arush, Sara, Prisha, Ishanvi, Pratik, are you done? Anay, Nidhi, Harsh, Nilesh. Give me a high five once you're done, or give me a high. Okay. All right. Guys, please come back. I need you all here. Okay. Okay, Reet. Hmm. All right. All right. Switch on your cams, guys. Come on. Reet, Arush. Okay. All right. So I am assuming we all have our top three. Okay. Now let's get into an activity which is challenging our thought. Okay. I'm going to screen share. All right. Challenge the thought. Now, there are multiple ways of challenging a thought, okay? But we're going to do one activity here, okay? All right. Now, before this, let's imagine. Now, I'm going to give you a hypothetical scenario. I want everyone to listen to me, okay? There's a girl, okay, and she's with a group of friends, all right? And another girl called Meena offers everybody ice cream, and she doesn't offer this girl the ice cream. Now this girl is feeling completely left out. She feels like, oh, she didn't ask me जानबूझ के, उसको मुझे पूछना ही नहीं था, right? This is a very natural thought that comes to us. अगर मेरे साथ होता तो मैं भी सोचती, right? Now the next activity that we're doing, we're going to keep this situation into reference, okay? So the activity is called a six-pack activity. Now, six-pack activity has nothing to do with abs, by the way, but it is called six-pack because हम एक situation कि 6 possibilities assume या imagine करने वाले हैं. Whether it is real or not, rational, irrational, logical, illogical, possible, impossible, does not matter. We are going to come up with 6 possibilities. ज़्यादा भी हो सकता है, but we are going to come up with at least 6 possibilities of that same situation. Okay, so it looks something like this. So first possibility that you see on the left bottom is she wanted to demean me. उसने जानबूझ के मेरे को आइसक्रीम ऑफर नहीं किया, उसको मैं पसंद नहीं हूँ या उसको मेरे को ट्रीट ही ऐसे करना था. That is one possibility that I'm already thinking. All right. The next possibility is oh, I deserve that treatment. I'm not a great human being. I deserve to not be included. I suck as a human, I guess. That's the second way of looking at it. The third way is, oh, she forgot to ask me. Possible. She forgot to ask me. The fourth is, she thought I didn't like ice cream. उसको लगा मेरे को पसंद ही नहीं ice cream, इसलिए she didn't offer. Fifth is, she thought I already had an ice cream. उसको पता ही नहीं था कि मेरे पास आइसक्रीम है ही नहीं. हो सकता है. Sixth is, oh, her eyesight is weak and she couldn't see me only. Now, do all of these make sense? Some might make sense, some might not make sense. Now, why am I doing this? You know what happens is, we spoke about the first thought. Remember when I said, what is the first thought that comes to you after an incident? Now, why that is important is because when I repeatedly have the same first thought, मेरे बाकी के thoughts भी वैसे ही हो जाते हैं. This activity helps in thought flexibility. Does it make me feel better? That's not even the point here. Why I'm doing this is just to explore more possibilities and to prove my rigid thinking wrong. जो मैं एक ही थिंग थॉट पे स्टक हो चुकी हूँ एंड आई एम फीलिंग दैट अगेन एंड अगेन एंड आई एम होल्डिंग ऑन टू दैट थॉट, दैट फीलिंग दैट okay, she wanted to demean me. Now, whether true or not, I don't know, but I have 5 other possibilities that could be possible. So just the fact that, okay, so many other things could be possible, when I do this on a repeated basis, makes my thoughts more flexible. It makes my thinking more neutral. All right. Now, I want all of us to do this with any one, like your top cognitive distortion and the incident that you came up with. If anyone wants to share, we can do one right now. But if anyone is comfortable sharing, anybody who wants to share an incident where they had a cognitive distortion? Wait, let me stop sharing for a while. Anybody? Janisha, you want to go ahead? Please unmute yourself.
Yes.
Tell
Hi.
me.
So, I recently got into crocheting, and every time I make a project, I feel really happy about it because it's like an achievement for me.
Hmm.
Okay, because I'm not usually that dedicated. तो एक बार बैठ के खत्म किया, तो oh my god, it's a great job for me.
Right.
And then it's out of habit I show people कि देखो मैंने क्या बनाया. Do you like it or not?
Hmm.
Because वो validation चाहिए रहता है थोड़ा. So
Correct.
my first person I go to is my mom.
Huh.
Now my mom sometimes is a perfectionist and she says it for the best, okay? And I get it. Okay? I really take it really well. I know she means the best. पर वो कभी-कभी वो ऐसा होता है कि कमी है दिल में. You should
Right.
have done this better. You should have seen this before you showed it to her, Janisha. Why didn't you do this? And even though 50,000 people tell me that Janisha, it's really nice, so pretty. And then at the end of the day, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to look at it, and I'm going to go, yeah, mom's right. I should have made this better. But I think one thing is good is that once I realize that, I will open it up and I'll redo it to make it better.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then when I show other people, I get even better feedback. Huh, this looks better than
Ah,
before.
right.
So one time I'm very grateful for that advice, but
Mm-hmm.
it also has a little negative impact because obvious reasons, overthinking.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. Interesting. I'm glad that you're able to, come back to being more neutral about it. Okay. But let's consider the thought, that instant first thought that comes to your mind, which give me a statement that mom must have sometimes said that made you feel like, oh,
Oh wait, yeah, that was just one thing. So I had this phase of making octopi. Okay, I'd make an octopus and then I'd show my mom, Mom, look, so pretty. And she'd look at it. Okay, it's right here. She looks at it and she goes, Raisha, what is this? Because she's right, it looks like a blob. I didn't get it back then. I was
hmm.
like, oh, everyone online is making it this way only. It looks really nice. My mom
Mm-hmm.
said, oh, Janisha, add legs to it. These tiny things are not looking good. I asked
Right.
5 other people. They all said it looks fine.
Hmm.
I went with that notion. But the next time I made one, I made it with legs. And then I showed my mom, ki, Mama, see. Like, yeah, good job. See, now it looks like an octopus. And she was right. But my first thought still was that, मुझे ही क्यों बोलते हो तुम? आप बना के देखो एक बार.
Now, hold on to this, okay? Now, when mom said, "Oh, it looks like a blob," okay, and I felt like, मुझे क्यों बोल रहे हो? मैंने इतनी मेहनत की, सब इंटरनेट पे बना. That is one possibility. What other things from your mom's point of view could be a possibility? Why she said that?
She said it because it does look like a blob.
That is one possibility. It does look like a blob.
It doesn't look like an octopus, and
Okay,
she pointed it out. She made a very valid point.
okay, hold on. That is one possibility. Okay, one is, oh, why me? Why you correcting me? Just appreciate me for once. One thought is, yes, absolutely, she's right. I mean, it does look like a blob. It doesn't look like an octopus. What is some other possibility that you can think of the same situation? Why did she say that? Which might be true or not. That's not the point here.
She hates the way I keep crocheting all day long and don't focus on my studies, so she's doing this to demotivate me so that I don't pick up crocheting ever again.
Okay, okay. What else?
This is not true.
Not concerned about that. That's not even the point here. The point is to be able to look at one situation in different ways.
She is telling me because she wants me to improve and so that other people don't judge me for it.
Okay, yes, this could be one.
Like, it's better to hear it from someone that actually cares about you than to get random feedback from people that don't give a damn.
Wow. Yes. What else?
I can't think of anything else.
Think of. I want you to come up with six. You come up with three, four. I want you to come up with more two, three. Write it. Okay, and then mention it in the chat. Anybody else who wants to go ahead with any incident, a recent thought that they had? Come on, guys. This. Okay, yes. Okay, so just before I talk to Sachi, this is a very chill space. Okay, I would love you all to speak up if you feel comfortable. It will help you, it will help us. All right. Yes, Sachi, go ahead.
I would say that I am most of a, I mean, more of a should think kind of person.
Okay.
And to think that you should be able to do everything. When
Okay.
somebody gives one task, it's like, you should be able to do this. Why can't you do this?
Ah, okay.
For
Now,
example,
yeah.
you've been given a group project, all right?
Hmm.
Let's say I have been given a chemistry project. I have to
Right.
make a presentation for it,
Huh.
and I have to present it. But
Huh.
it's a group project.
Huh.
You made a WhatsApp group and everything. You
Huh.
added your members in it. You are telling that you are giving certain these things, responsibilities.
Hmm. Hmm.
But still, what I do is I still make sure that I do everything.
Hmm.
Well, I should be able to do everything, even if one person is not doing the work properly. I'll just switch places and do it well. So that's what I generally do.
Okay. So let's say let's take the situation that has happened. ठीक है कि तुम्हारे प्रोजेक्ट मिला हुआ है और you have set roles and responsibilities, but वो thought आता है कि no, I should be doing everything, like I should be taking care of everything, right? That is one way of looking at working on a project. That is one way of thinking. I should be able to do everything. What other possibilities do you think can be looked at
Well,
when you're working on a
the
project?
like my friends are not so confident to put out their words over there. So
Okay.
I might be able to help them in the particular vision.
Okay. Now, when we are focusing on your should thinking for now, तो वो जो thought है ना, I should be doing all of that. I should be the one completing, or I should be the one, responsible for everything if someone is not able to. Any other way of looking at this thought when you're working on a group project? What other way could you deal with this situation when working on a project?
I would like try. I would uh, try to stick on the particular part that I have already got. To if I want to improve myself for not thinking too much about one thing.
Hmm. Okay. What else?
Yeah. Either that, or I would discuss more with my teammates. If there is some problem with them and they cannot do the particular part, I'll just switch places with them for that one.
Okay, okay. So communicate with somebody is another way to deal with it. What else?
I would just look at the positive side and say that I already am having a lot of knowledge. I'm gaining a lot of knowledge from what I'm doing.
Interesting, interesting. Wow. Okay. और क्या कर सकते हैं? I would love you all to give inputs as well. Others, just write down the comments. एक situation में हम क्या क्या कर सकते हैं और we're working on a group project and I feel like I should be doing everything or I should be doing this also, that also. How else can we deal with this? Shoot in your suggestions. Or you can even unmute, it's okay. It's a long typing that.
I've got one possible thought.
Yes, go ahead.
I've already given them the work. Why should I be doing their work? They should do it themselves. Why should I be taking all the burden?
Yes, that's definitely another way of looking at it. Amazing. Yes, who else? Bolo, bolo, bolo.
We can like draw a boundary as in
Mm-hmm.
like मतलब I have certain things in mind कि इससे आगे मैं कुछ नहीं करूँगा और अगर इनमें कुछ किसी ने बोला तो मैं बोल दूंगा कि मैंने मेरा लेवल बेस्ट दिया है अभी बाकी लोगों ने नहीं दिया तो इट्स नॉट माय फॉल्ट.
Okay, okay. So putting that boundary and deciding पहले, being clear with myself कि मुझे कितना करना है and after what should I draw my boundary. Okay, yes. Anybody else has any other suggestion? Sachi, can you think of anything else?
All I can think of is if I do my part well, it cannot guarantee that I'll get that much assigned marks for it, right? So I
Hmm?
need my marks to get my percentage up.
Right.
So on the positive side, if I do it well, then I would probably get more marks.
Okay. Okay. That's another way of looking at it. Right. Now you see guys, यहाँ पे हमें solution तो नहीं मिला है. We don't know what is the right way to go ahead. But we were able to see this one situation and this one thinking कि I should be doing in so many different ways. Some ways validated her thought कि why she should be doing it, and some ways were challenging her thought, which is okay, why should she do it? Right? So this is we're just helping our thoughts be more flexible. All right. I would love to go with one another person who wants to come up and share their cognitive distortion incident. Something that they said to themselves, something that they thought after an incident. Anybody, a lot of people raised hands for mind reading. Does anyone want, or personalizing? Does anyone want to share?
I could.
Hi, Kia. Yes.
Basically, this is about personalizing.
Mm-hmm.
So a few weeks back, my friends had gone to this jazz club at the night, like at night, and they made this last moment plan, and they
Mm-hmm.
did not invite me. So I'm like, why did they not invite me? Do they not like me? Like, do they not want to hang out with me?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So
Now let's take, yeah,
no, no,
right. That is the thought that you had. Now let's, what other possibilities could have happened? Why, as to why they didn't call you?
I already know what happened now because I spoke to them about it. But other possibilities could be that they realized like late that they were all going to go to the jazz club and all that.
Mm-hmm. Right. What else?
Maybe they forgot that, like they forgot to like call me. Like maybe it slipped their mind.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. Definitely could be one. What
Maybe
else?
they thought I couldn't go out late at night. Like my parents wouldn't allow it,
Mm-hmm.
so they didn't tell me so that I wouldn't feel bad.
Fair. Fair enough. What else? Positive, negative, anything. No boundaries here.
Maybe they thought I didn't like the kind of vibe that they were going to, so they did not invite me.
Okay, okay. So these are good five possibilities, right? Of course, you mentioned you spoke to them, so now that's good. You took a good action about it. That's really amazing. But yes, these are so many possibilities, and I'm sure if you think about it, you'll have more. I mean, if you don't limit yourself to positive or negative, you'll get more possibilities. All right, Nidhi, yes, you wanted to share something. We'll go with you. Please go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so recently what happened was I joined a school as a teacher
Mm-hmm.
uh, from 1st April, and I was placed in the secondary section.
Okay.
So I was assigned to the 6th grade, but as a buddy teacher, I mean, as a helper teacher, something like that. So actually, this is my first time facing kids and everything. So yeah, and the school actually started off from 7th and directly facing kids, and the thing was that they were knowing that this is the most notorious class, and the students they were well versed with when they placed me. But after a week or so, I don't know, something happened, and I was placed suddenly in the other grade. I was
Okay.
removed from that grade, and I was placed in the 5th grade. So that 1.5 day, it was all about self doubt. The self talks were all about self doubts, whether it was me being capable of handling kids, or I mean, was it a wrong decision of mine to become a teacher, or am I good with kids, or a lot of things were going on. And the thing was, the someone who was placing me in that, or shifting me, was not a good person.
All
Yeah,
right.
because everybody is having a problem with that person, and so I was not getting the right thing, whether it was it was their fault or something of my sort, because I think I felt I should be given a chance to at least for a few days. It was not even a week that the school had started, and they didn't even thought to they didn't even give him a chance that what's going on, what went wrong, no justification, no reasoning, so nothing
Okay.
was.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was all about like मतलब ये self doubt ही हो गया पूरा कि
Correct.
क्या हो गया.
Huh.
And when I was placed in 5th grade, so some of my colleagues are like, this class is quite settled, quite balanced, so it is good for your side. But
Achha.
again, I'm not feeling the right thing. I mean,
Wait,
why
correct.
it was. Yeah, so I was not given any reason ke what happened suddenly, that how. And it was not even like they are coming to me that you have to go to that class, we are not satisfied with how you are tackling it, or
Correct.
nothing like that. There was no explanation, and the message was received to me via WhatsApp message late in the evening. So
Wow.
that's how things are so unprofessional.
Right.
And I feel that the students, the next day, those students were telling me that why you are not in our class and whatnot. So
Okay.
again, going and facing the same students, because everywhere we will are going to find those students in
Mhm.
some or the other way. So these all are things like how to how will I
Now,
juggle with such a thing, and
okay.
a lot of self confidence, and a lot of things I can say.
Of course, definitely. I
Yeah,
mean, it's a difficult situation when you don't know something. It's like a blank
exactly.
slate, and we are designed to
Yes,
think negative, right? So all
yes, a
seem
lot
negative.
of so yes, a lot. One day I can say 1.5 day it was the most difficult thing to be
Absolutely
in the school and being removed like this, and
right.
people are calling me at night that what's happening, what's going on. Some of my teachers and everything.
Right.
So
So you were just in that
yes,
state. Now I would
yeah,
like us to take help, okay?
yes.
Everybody, please
Mhm.
unmute and share in what ways can we think about this. Now you've all heard her situation, okay? Now, one thought that we already are having the situation is what really happened? Did I do anything wrong? Did I
Yeah.
not teach well? What other ways are there to look at this scenario? Shoot, come on. Let's help each other. Come on, guys.
Maybe it could be that they must be thinking of giving more experience for a newcomer teacher. That's
Mm-hmm.
why it changed the her class. to fifth grade from sixth grade.
Okay, okay. All right, that is one. Why do you guys think she was not informed? What reasons could be there for her not be informed of why she's being shifted? Because I think that is something that has created more cluttered thinking, is because we don't know what happened and what happened. That's kind of getting us in that negative space.
Maybe the teacher for fifth standard left very last moment and the
No.
management didn't get enough time to
Mm,
process.
no, no, no. It wasn't like that. It wasn't like that.
It's okay. So Nidhi, here what we're trying to do is we don't. So right now, currently, we don't know why it happened because we weren't
Yeah.
informed, right? So here we're
Hmm.
just trying to explore things. Of course,
Yes.
there's only one
Hmm.
thing that has happened, but we're just
Hmm.
assuming so that our minds know. Okay, ऐसा भी हो सकता है. नहीं,
Hmm.
that's a different scenario. But just
Yes, yes,
for our
yes.
thoughts to be more flexible,
Yes, yes.
So, ठीक है. That is one.
Hmm.
What else, guys? Come on, shoot, shoot, shoot.
Hello, the teacher must have thought, the head teacher, whoever changed the class, must have thought that it would not be so important to explain such a small thing. She thought, like, he's a new teacher, we can just replace her to another class and she'll work away.
Probably, probably yes. That is definitely something that could have happened.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yes, guys, I have to take names फिर नाम बुला के पूछना पड़ेगा फिर. Arush, what do you think?
Uh, Again, it's the same thing. So maybe the teacher thought it wasn't that important to, let inform her about something. And because she's a new teacher, they were like, it's actually not a big deal, something like that.
Okay, so not important to inform is what they thought. Maybe it's a very trivial matter to inform.
Hmm.
Okay, Harsh
In the
say,
back of the mind, they
yeah.
didn't really take her seriously, something like
Okay, okay, all right. The teacher in fifth standard was not capable, so the management decided to shift her to fifth standard. Okay, all right. That could be a thought behind this. Yes.
Maybe, maybe she
Yes, sir.
being maybe she being a new teacher, they not thought that it would be relevant to give her any reason for the shift.
Okay. Acha, so they felt like she doesn't need to know, or it's not needed
हाँ,
वाला feeling.
yeah, fine.
जरूरत नहीं है.
It's not relevant.
Okay, okay. What other things? Something that comes to my mind is they
Uh,
forgot to inform. That is one
it
thing.
could it could also be that like sixth grade was like a more difficult class and she's a new teacher, so she should get like a class which is more well behaved and like thinking for her betterment.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Possible, possible,
Hmm.
very much possible. All right. Right. So we got more than six actually. Yeah, we're getting more. Sachi, you saying something?
Yeah. So, I think she said that they informed in late in the evening, right? They informed
Hmm.
late in the evening.
Hmm.
That's what she said. Yeah. So what I think is that maybe there were some urgent occupations which occupied them, not occupation, but some urgent arrangements which occupied them. So they
Mm-hmm.
only sent the message late in the evening.
Okay, okay. And that's the only way they could probably inform her because they were very occupied with some other important stuff. So they
So they
couldn't have the, yeah.
Yeah, so they probably did not have much time to write an email or just call them or something like that.
All right. Interesting one. Okay, Prisha says maybe the required teachers to have had more experience in the past for this particular post. Maybe. One says start from easy and then upgrade to a difficult one. Okay. Janisha, you raise your hand.
Maybe they sent the message earlier, but they were traveling, so net was poor, and then once they got back home, the message reached late.
Yes. Yes. Possible. Some tech glitch. Wow, we have more than like 10 possibilities. Now we don't know which one is true, all right? Yes,
Hmm.
Laksh says maybe the management has a very authoritative style of expecting teachers to blindly follow decisions without any constructive feedback or a two-way discussion. Definitely possible.
This is there. This is there, which I have observed for so many days. This
Right,
is there. Yes, this
right.
is there.
Okay, good one, Laksh. Wow. We have a lot of flexible mindsets here, which is amazing. So Nidhi, you see what is actually this is doing.
Hmm.
It's not really giving
Yes,
us a solution. We still don't
yes,
know
yes.
what happened.
Yeah.
At least there's a possibility that okay, ये भी हो सकता है, ये भी हो
Yes.
सकता है. Some
Hmm.
possibilities sound more true, some sound impossible.
Yes.
At least there is flexibility. At least
Yes.
the thought has neutralized a little bit.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Now imagine us doing this repeated for many
Hmm.
incidents and events,
Yeah.
right? It feels
Yes.
lighter. It's as
Yes.
easy as that. And it gets
Yes.
us into a space of thinking more rationally rather than
Hmm.
emotionally,
True. True.
right?
Yes.
So this is basically what this exercise does. Now, I want everyone to do this with their top. For the people who have not shared vocally, I want,
Hmm.
if you've already done, please raise your hands and let me know. All right. If not, then I want us to do this. Come up with 6 situations for one incident that recently got you into a negative thinking pattern. Once you're done, just write done in the chat box. I'm going to screen share so that you can just. Oh, uh, sorry, guys. Okay.
You have to write the thoughts.
Yes, so for example, like you can see on the screen, situation एक ही था कि उसको आइसक्रीम ऑफर नहीं किया. But what are the 6 thoughts that you can think about the situation?
So first you have to write the situation, then you have to write the thoughts.
Yeah, a situation where you experienced a distorted way of thinking. It could be mind reading, personalizing, catastrophizing. और वो thought को छोड़ के और क्या क्या थॉट्स मैं सोच सकता हूँ अबाउट द सिचुएशन? Last 2 minutes, guys. Is that the situation you're considering, Vansh? Hello, hello.
Yes.
Okay, you mentioned the situation, right? Now get more specific. Taking a stand but others not agreeing with it. So when that happened with you, what did you think about? मतलब वो थॉट क्या आया इस सिचुएशन में कि ओ शिट मेरा ये स्टैंड ही गलत था? Was it what was the immediate thought you had?
मेरा stand
What other things could you think? I took a stand, nobody agreed to it. One way is okay, मेरा स्टैंड ही गलत था. और क्या क्या पॉसिबिलिटीज है?
मेरे थॉट्स मैच नहीं कर रहे हैं लोग के साथ.
ओके. Risha, is that your response to one situation? Bias? I can't see you, so you have to type या तो unmute yourself. Hello, hello. Okay, no problem. You mentioned bias, so I was asking if that's your response to one situation, or is it something of your own? Declaration. Guys, response to is okay. That other people are biased is one way of looking at it. Yes, probably. All right. Vansh, can you think of any other possibility?
That I am right and they are.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes, that could be right. All right, people, please come back. Okay. Now that we have 6 possibilities to one situation, what is the next thing we do? अब मेरा mind flexible तो हो गया है थोड़ा बहुत. Now you know what power comes in me? The power to choose now. I always had that power, but now it is evident. Okay? Because I have 6. पहले एक ही situation था. So I didn't have a choice. I have to think this way, I have to act based on this thinking only. Now I have 6 different ways of thinking about one thing. So I have a choice to choose कि 6 में से what do I want to really believe. Okay? Everyone with me on this? Raise your hands if you are with me on this. All right. Now, how do I make that choice? Thank you, guys. All right. Thank you. Okay. Now, how do I make that choice? I do this. Oh, sorry. I've written all the 6 possibilities, thoughts based on the earlier situation, and I wrote how it makes me feel. Now, the thought that, oh, she wanted to demean me makes me feel angry. Okay. I deserve the treatment makes me feel shameful about myself or embarrassed about myself. All right. Oh, she forgot to ask me makes me feel calm. I mean, or indifferent. Like, ठीक है, भूल गई होगी. She thought I don't like ice cream. Again, हाँ उसको लगा होगा probably. She didn't know. She doesn't know me enough. ठीक है. She thought she had already asked me. I feel empathy. Okay, she really thought for me, but usko misunderstanding hui that she had already asked me, even if she had not. So I feel for her. Okay, like not her fault. And the last one was her eyesight is weak and she didn't see me. So I feel really empathetic because I mean she doesn't have a good eyesight. So it's not her fault actually. She couldn't see me there. Now, from this, I want to ask myself if my best version had to consider and make a choice, what would my best and healthiest version choose from this? So, guys, I just want you to unmute and tell me if you were in this situation, these were your thoughts, and this is how you felt about it. How would your best version function? Like, what would your best version choose? In what way would you want to look at the situation? For example, if I think my best version, yes, Janisha, tell me.
I'd go with she thought she'd already asked me.
Okay, so you would choose empathy. You would choose to like to empathize with her or to be empathetic about the situation. Okay, great. Here,
You forgot to ask me?
okay. So you would probably be calm about it, neutral about it. You would choose that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yes, Pratik.
Yeah, even I think I would be calm about it, being like she forgot to ask me.
All right. Who else? Orkon. Sachi.
I would think it in two ways. It would either be she forgot to ask me, or it would be she thought she had already asked me.
Okay. Either it's being neutral about it or being empathetic about it. Okay, great. Vansh.
Empathy. She thought she had already asked.
Ah, right. So you would also choose empathy. Wow. Beautiful. Who else? Laksh, what would you say? What would you choose?
Yeah, even I choose the calm one, like she forgot to ask.
Okay, okay. Okay, Reed says she thought she'd already asked me. Okay. Um, can empathy lead to again being emotional? No, empathy is a way of looking at things, right? It's how what kind of approach you choose. It could make you emotional, but the emotions here will be very different if you notice. The emotions won't be taking it personally or getting angry. It would rather be feeling for someone, right? So it takes the load off you, right? Okay. So I think all of us have either chosen being calm or being empathetic. And how beautiful is that? So, do you realize that if we are able to function from our best versions, we end up choosing positive, I wouldn't say positive, I would say healthy emotions. Emotions that don't weigh me down. Emotions that don't make me take things personally and overthink about it in a negative spiral. So we all have our best versions within us. But sometimes these negative thinking patterns just sort of take over. But we always have a choice. Now, the second step that we did, which was coming up with how it makes me feel and choosing, now all of us might not be in that space during that situation to really, even if my ideal version would function from, a space of empathy, but right now I feel angry. Right now I don't feel empathetic for that person. I am damn angry that she didn't ask me. It is all right. I should not expect myself to instantly feel that surge of empathy for the other person or to consider that sort of scenario to be true. It is absolutely okay. The only point here is to remind yourself that you have a choice to choose how to approach the situation. That's the only thing. If I'm in that space where I can function from my given choice, then why not? But if I'm not in that situation, it's okay. We can just do this much and stop and keep repeating this in every situation. And there will be a time where you realize, oh, I'm actually able to function from that space as well, the space that I want to function from. It's like taking the steering wheel back. Sometimes when you go into that spiral, कोई और गाड़ी चलाने लग जाता है हमारे लाइफ की. All we're doing is we're taking the steering back, getting into the driving seat, and choosing what path to go. That's the only thing we're doing with this activity. Now, this is one way to challenge your thought. All right. There are several other ways. I'm just going to put forward. We won't be able to really do all of them because of time constraint, but I'm going to share it with you. Now, these are questions. Okay. Now, let's say, um, I'm going to give you another scenario. All right. I tried I tried cooking something and nobody liked it. I mean, I got a very bad review. And now I'm thinking, I suck at cooking and I think I just should never try it. Now, different ways of challenging this thought. What would you tell a friend? Like, if your friend came and said this to you, you know what, I tried cooking and I suck at it and I'm never going to try cooking again because I'm just not a good cook. I'm not a good chef. I can never be a good chef. What is something you would tell a friend? Anybody? What would you tell a friend who comes and says this to you?
Try modifying the recipe a little bit so it's a little easier for you, or try a different recipe that's easier for beginners.
Uh-huh. Interesting. Okay. What else? Yes, Pratik. Bolo.
Maybe trying to do it with someone else, like in like a partnership or something, to see if it happens better. Trying to understand maybe something that went wrong.
All right. So basically taking steps to improve or see what you can do differently. Okay. Would you guys, how many of you would agree and say, oh yes, you should definitely think that you're a bad chef and you should stop cooking and you should just give up? Anybody who would say that or agree with the friend's thought that the friend is thinking in that moment? Instant no. Nobody's raising their hands. And obviously so. We wouldn't want anyone to think like that, right? But so many times in certain intense situations, we tend to think like that about ourselves. But we don't say the next thing to ourselves, which is no, don't give up cooking. Or it could be just any scenario in that for that matter. How many times do we say that to ourselves repeatedly? Very few. So one way of challenging your thought is ask yourself, what would I say to a friend if my friend thought the same thing about herself or himself? Would I support this friend's thought? If the answer is no, then you should say the same to yourself. So these are different ways and to challenge your thought. So another way is ask if there's a proof to your thought. Most of the times you will realize whether it is all or nothing thinking, whether it is catastrophizing, whether it is mind reading, personalizing, there's no proof, there's no evidence of the thought. It is coming from a space of fear, past experience, assumption. So it just breaks the ice there, at least in that moment. At least your first thought gets broken. How would my life be if I didn't believe in this thought? Let's say I think I look terrible. I look, that's my thought about myself. I'm not good looking. How would my life be if I didn't believe in this thought? I would be more confident. I would go out there, talk to more people. I would be happier. I would feel good about myself. So just thinking about the opposite helps you break the thought. Am I using any extreme wording? So it depends on what cognitive distortion is happening, especially the should one, the all or nothing ones. These are more extreme ways of thinking. So can I neutralize them? Okay, I failed a test. I'm never going to get into a good college. Oh, wait. I failed one test. Does that mean I'm never going to pass a test? Does that mean I can never get good at studies? If that is false, if my thinking is false, then okay, let me neutralize. Okay, I failed this one and I'm extremely unhappy about it, but I can do better. We shifted the thought. Next is there an exception or a counter proof to this thought? Let's take the cooking example. I suck at cooking. Okay, is there a time where I did make something which was better than this? Is there a time where I did this a little better? If yes, that's enough proof to prove my current thinking wrong. What would my best version think in this situation? Similar to what we did prior to this. If I was not feeling this way, if I was in my best space right now, how would I function? What approach would I have? These are very short term ways of quickly breaking your first thought. So, the intention of these questions is to break your first thought. That's the only thing we really need to do, to be honest, is to break that entire chain. All right. Huh. Okay. Now, quickly briefing. Whenever you catch yourself, the first thing is to identify. If I can't identify, I won't be able to do anything about it. And how I can start identifying is to just be more aware of my thoughts, be more conscious of my thoughts. I don't have to expect to be able to think positive immediately after a negative thought. Maybe it happens hours later. But if I'm able to at least sit with it, label it, name it, and then reframe it, I'm good to go. So, first thing is identifying, and the second thing is reframing. Reframing is nothing but challenging your thought. These are literally two things you need as basics to get out of the distortion loop that happens. Yes, this requires practice. So after the session, if I decide, okay, I'm going to experiment and then it doesn't work, hold on. Give yourself time. We took so long to come into this space of mind, to come into this way of thinking. It didn't happen overnight. It happened with one experience, then another. It got built. फिर हमने we tried to confirm our thinking with other negative scenarios. So it's taken time. So we need time to even come out of it. But just ask yourself, am I able to do a little better than before? Am I able to look at the situation in some other way? Then you're winning. So first, very important is identifying, and second is reframing. And the more I do this, the more automatic it becomes. I remember I think I can relate to all distortions, to be honest, in my personal life. I've had major insecurities when it comes to, oh, how my body is, oh, how I'm so dumb. I've been very sensitive to reactions. Okay, if people give me a very minute negative reaction, I would think about it the entire day. And there came a point I got frustrated of it, to be honest. And I was like, because I couldn't think of anything else but just things that have happened around me. Identifying and reframing really helped me neutralize my thoughts. And the reward is within that feeling, which is really amazing. Are we all on the same page when it comes to distortions, identifying, reframing? Are we able to relate it to our life is more important than just ये मतलब theory type मत लो इसको. Being able to relate it to your own life is what actually I'm here for. So if that has happened in any way, please raise your hands. I would really love to see if that has really happened. If you're able to relate it to your life, to your real life incidents and examples. Mm-hmm. All right. Hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, I'm glad. Mm-hmm. All right. Okay. Okay. Mm-hmm. Interesting. Wow. I'm glad. So, I want us to watch a very short video before winding up. Wait a sec. Is the video audible to everyone? All right. I'm just going to replay. All right.
Who would like this $20 bill? I'm going to give it to one of you, but first, let me do this. Now, who still wants it? I do. What if I do this? Who wants it now? My dear students, I've just showed you a very important lesson. No matter what I did with this money, you still wanted it because it never lost its worth. It's still worth $20. There are many times in our lives when we feel like life has crumbled us up and ground us into the dirt. We may make some bad decisions or have to deal with some poor circumstances. And sometimes our lives can make us feel worthless. But no matter what has happened, no matter what will happen, never lose your worth. You never lose your value. Don't ever forget that.
All right. Could you all see the video? That was a reminder. Sometimes the way we think about ourselves can really, really get difficult. It can get us to think absolutely falsely about ourselves, and especially in a very unhealthy manner. But it's very important to understand that what we say to ourselves eventually becomes our reality. We are going to spend, if there's one person we're going to spend our entire lives with, it is ourselves. There's no running away from that. And we should be a good friends to ourselves. I mean, we deserve a good friend. And before anyone else, that should be us. Who agrees with me? Give me a hand raise. Yes. Mm-hmm. Right. Our mind is a beautiful thing, guys. And I really, really want it to work for you and not against you. And that's why next time you experience yourself, thinking in any distorted manner, pause, reflect, allow yourself to accept, and reframe. That's it. That's the only thing I would love you all to keep practicing. I am going to keep the group active for a week. All right. I would love to see and hear your experiences for the next 1 week, whenever and however you experience them. All right. And while on the call, I would love you all to take out. So, with this, by the way, we finish our self talk workshop. Okay. So, there is one method that we've done in depth, which I would really love you to do with certain incidents. For some of us, there might be incidents that we are stuck on, that we're just not able to move on from. I would love us to do that. You could share it with me if you need help. If there's confusion with how to do it, not able to do it, I'm going to be there. All right. Anyone who wants to ask anything, any doubts, anything they didn't understand, anything they want to clarify, anything, please go ahead. Man, you raised your hand. Was it for this? Any doubt? Oh, okay. So I am assuming that everyone is on the same page. Everyone's with me till now. Okay. So the last thing is, I would love. Okay. I would love you all to in the group that I've formed. I would love you all to write a feedback of the workshops. You know how it's done, right? So just write a feedback of how the session was, how your overall experience of it, and just send on the group before we wind up. So I'm going to stay here. Please stay on the call for the next 5 or whatever time you take. Type out your feedback and come back. Just give me a done in the chat box once you're done with the feedback. You can mention what your takeaways are, something that you discovered about yourself, something that you think is going to help you, and your overall experience, of course. Hmm. Mhm. I see your messages. Yes, yes. Right. Hmm. All right. I see a lot of messages, but I don't see a lot of duns here in the chat box. Please likho yaar. Mm-hmm. I need you all to come back for just a minute because there's something I want to talk about before we wind up, and that's why I've asked everyone to just be back once they're done. All right. All right. Mm-hmm. Okay, we take another 2 minutes. Hmm. Okay. I think most of us are done. All right. Cool. Guys, come back for a minute. Please switch on your cams for one last minute. Okay. So, like I mentioned, I'm going to keep this group active for another 1 week. Now, in that, there are two things that are most welcome. One is just writing down stuff, small achievements, small goals that you meet sometimes. You know, when you learn something new and you use it and you see the difference, I would really love if any one of us experiences that, just to share it in the group so that it motivates other people to try out these techniques, right, and in their lives. So that is what the group is going to be open for another 1 week. Secondly, I want to know how many people are up for this. Okay, so this is optional. I'm going to ask whoever is interested to write a self compassion letter to themselves, where I write a letter to myself where I realize how hard I am on myself sometimes when I make a mistake, when I do something wrong, when something fails, when something doesn't work out, and how I want to now function or approach differently. Just setting an intention and just writing a letter of compassion to self. I don't want you all to answer me right now. I'm going to put a poll on the group. Whoever is in, I would definitely love them to vote on the poll. And I'm going to create a group especially for that, because that is more of a personal talk with self, where I'm going to share a letter that I've written to myself, and you can do the same. So think about it, and I'm going to put out a poll where you can vote for that. It's going to just be a small group where you share that letter. All right. It's a heartfelt, it's a wholesome moment. Think about it. And yes, this is why I wanted you guys to come back. We are done with the workshop. I read some of the messages, and I'm glad if this has helped in any way, because any step ahead is a win, right? So, thank you so much for sitting on one place on a Sunday afternoon. That means a lot. And I think you've been great. I've loved the participation. Thank you so much for listening, for allowing yourself to be open and accepting. All right. We're going to come up with, of course, a new workshop. Stay tuned, and I will see you guys. If anyone wants to talk about anything particular, you can stay. Otherwise, we can wind up and leave. All right. Thank you, Prisha. Thank you, Kush. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Bye bye. Hmm. Okay. Janisha, you want to talk about something?
Yeah, so recently,
Okay, one second. So I'm going to end this meeting. Okay, I'm going to give you another link to join,
okay,
because
ma'am.
we are also streaming live, right? So if there's something you want to talk, we can do it separately.
Thank you, ma'am.
That works. Rian, anything that you want to talk? Hush, Rian.
Yes, so I would like to talk.
Okay, so I'm gonna in the group. I'm just gonna share my another link, because this is streaming. We'll just end this one. Okay, just join there immediately. We'll have a conversation.
Huh.
Okay, guys. Okay.